Living in Loveland with a dog is pretty great, but finding the right local trainer, that can really be the key to unlocking all the amazing things this city has to offer you and your best friend.
I mean, just picture it, enjoying a perfect, totally stress-free walk every single time you head out the door. That's the dream, right? Well, good training is exactly how we get there. It's really all about building that stronger, more confident partnership with your dog.
So, to help you find that perfect match, we're going to walk through 5 simple steps. We'll start with your lifestyle here in Loveland, then figure out your training style, know what to look for in a great trainer, ask all the right questions, and finally, put it all into practice right here in our community.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's really picture what success looks like for you, right here in Loveland.
A well-trained dog is one that can just handle life in our town, We're talking about those calm walks on the Lake Loveland Trail, or being able to chill out on a brewery patio. Or maybe it's just staying focused and happy at a busy place like Boyd Lake State Park. It's all about preparing your dog for the real world, our world.
So now that we have that goal in mind, let's figure out what kind of training is actually going to get you and your dog there.
First thing you have to do is get really specific. What is it exactly that you want to accomplish? Are we talking about basic manners, or is there a more challenging behavior you're dealing with? Your answer here is what's going to guide your entire search. And hey, a lot of us are looking for help with these same kinds of things, whether it's just starting a puppy off on the right paw, finally stopping that leash pulling, or addressing something a bit more complex like fearfulness. Just identifying your main goal is that first big step to finding a trainer who has the right skills for the job. So, where should the training actually happen? Well, in-home training is fantastic for solving problems that happen right where you live. Like jumping on guests the second they walk in the door. Group classes, on the other hand, are absolutely perfect for practicing good manners and focus when there are other dogs and people around. Now, let's get into what might be the single most important part of this whole decision, the trainer's methods. Okay, the gold standard in modern dog training is something called positive reinforcement. It's all backed by science, and it basically focuses on rewarding the behaviors you want to see more of. Not only is it effective and totally humane, but it makes learning fun for your dog, which does wonders for your bond. So how can you tell if a trainer is really committed to these kinds of modern methods? Look for credentials. These letters show that a trainer has put in the work to get educated and pass professional tests. Some, like the CPD-TK-A or KPA-CTP, are great for general training knowledge. Others, like the ones from IABC or the CBCCKA, tell you they have special expertise in tougher issues like fear or aggression. They're a really reliable sign you're dealing with a qualified pro.
All right, so you've done your homework and you have a few potential trainers in mind. Here's a little toolkit to help you make that final choice. When you have that first chat, think of it as a consultation. You want to confirm their methods and their credentials for sure. But also ask them how they're going to tailor the training specifically for your dog and your life here in Loveland. It's also a good idea to ask how you'll both track progress and, of course, get a really clear picture of all the costs involved. And speaking of costs, here's a peek at some typical prices you might see in the Loveland area for 2025. This should give you a good starting point for budgeting. You'll definitely notice that big jump for board and train programs. That's because those are really intensive, live-in options that are usually for pretty significant behavior challenges, unlike the weekly skill building you get in group classes or private lessons.
Okay, so once you start training, that's when the real work kicks in, applying all those new skills out in the real world, right here in our community. Being a great dog owner in Loveland also means knowing a few key local rules, and they're pretty simple. Always remember that leashes are required everywhere unless you're in a designated dog park. Your dog also needs to be licensed with the city and have an up-to-date rabies vaccine. That's state law. And hey, good training can definitely help you avoid any issues with nuisance barking. And Loveland has some really fantastic places to practice. The dog parks over at Mahaffey and Mariana Butte are perfect for working on off-leash skills like coming when called. And for on-leash practice with plenty of real-world distractions, you really can't beat Boyd Lake State Park or the Lake Loveland Trail. At the end of the day, all this effort really leads to one thing: a confident, happy dog who can join you on all your adventures. Good training just opens up a whole new world for both of you to enjoy together, right here in our city. We really wish you the best of luck in finding that perfect training partner. Having a well-behaved dog just makes everything better. from quiet nights at home to introducing your dog to friends and family, and especially when you're out enjoying all the beautiful spots we have around town. Happy training.